This week on The Bachelorette.
I can literally feel the blood boil inside of me.
Is he joining the house?
Oh God, here we go. You stand no chance.
She's gonna let her pass back into her life like that so easily. I'm leaving.
I don't know when.
Yo, what is up, everybody, and welcome back to it. We're going to be talking about the new episode of The Bachelorette, Season 21, Episode 5. Let's get right into this. The episode begins with the guys at the cocktail party, and I had forgotten what happened. Listen, this season is so lackluster that it's not even that memorable. But in case you forgot, we left last week's episode with one of Jen's exes of the past coming to find Jen. The guys don't know this yet. Jen is walking around in circles thinking about her ex Matt coming to see her and asking her to let him join the group of guys because he's ready to be engaged to Jen. Jesse comes to speak to her to see where her head and mind is at. She says that it was a lot for Matt to not only come all the way here, but also him telling her that he loves her and that he wants to be engaged with her now. But she has 11 guys who she's really been enjoying getting to know. So eventually Jen makes her way with the guys. Long story short, she tells them that her ex-boyfriend Matt flew all the way to New Zealand to declare his love to her. She says he will be here tonight and she's going to need to talk to him. None of the guys are happy about this. Obviously, they're a little worried and mad because they can't compare, you can't compare what they have had for a few weeks with a guy who Jen has literally dated and who's been her boyfriend before. The most vocal about being upset was Austin, definitely. And Devin, he says that if the guy stays, he's leaving. So Jen goes to talk to Matt. She says that she felt flattered by what he did, flying here all the way to tell her that he loves her. No one's ever done that. But why now, she asks. He says it's, in this case, it's now or never. Because she's gonna end this journey engaged to someone. So he is not going to, sit around and wait. This pushed him to act because it's not like he can wait for her to come back home because no, when she ends this, she will probably be engaged and she'll be taken. Then, it was very awkward. Matt, after a while, goes and addresses the guys, introduces himself, but all he says is that Jen pretty much told him that her future is already in this room. So Matt tells him that he came and tried, but he's leaving. Jen pretty much sent him home. That made the guys feel so much better, and I kind of knew this would happen, and that's mainly because of the trailer and just the leaks and some of that stuff. After he leaves, Jen tells them that she was told by Matt that he loved her, and she liked hearing that, but she says that she thinks that she heard it from the wrong guy. It's gonna have to be one of these guys. So then they don't even have a cocktail party. They just go straight to the rose ceremony. Devin, Marcus, and Sam already have a rose. And then the rest of the roses go to Grant, Jeremy, Jonathan, Spencer, Dylan. And the final rose goes to Austin. Meaning that Thomas and Sean are sent home. I usually wouldn't say this, but I'm so glad Thomas was sent home. I like that he and Jen shared the same ethnicity and culture, but he sucked. He was such a drama queen and always getting in people's business and jumping up and down on everything except his time with Jen. But anyway, these are the guys that received the rose. It's definitely narrowing down. So then it's a new day. Jen and Jesse are drinking coffee, and for a moment I thought, wow, this is the most we've seen Jesse spend time with a bachelorette. Maybe Jen and Jesse could, never mind. Meanwhile, with the guys, they get their date card, and they open it up, and it reads, Jonathan, it's time for our love to take flight. So Jonathan gets on going, and they get on a helicopter. So many dates involving helicopters and heights and all that. But it was a beautiful view. Then they land in this beautiful green vineyard. It was so nice. And then they're just start being playful with each other, playing hide and seek and throwing things at each other's mouth. It was really cute. There was even a little hot tub that they got into, and they just had so much fun. The date was definitely one of the most romantic I've seen in a while, and the goal for later is, now that they've had their fun, to now connect on a deeper level. So it is the later part of the date. Jen says that she loves that she can be herself with Jonathan. Then he opens up about having a hard time opening up. and he sometimes gets a little insecure of opening himself up because he knows that he's opening himself up, but he doesn't know if the other person is going to be doing the same thing. And he says this stems from a past relationship where he and this girl almost got engaged. Then she started drinking a lot. They got into a lot of arguments, and when he would call her out and say things to her, she would call him controlling and a manipulator. And then one day she just kicked him out the house, and he says that destroyed him. Jenn says that she can relate because she's also had an ex that gaslit her, and she totally understands how that could get in the way of allowing someone to open up. The guys back in the hotel, also, by the way, they got another date card, a group date. It's for Devin, Sam, Marcus, Spencer, Jeremy, Dylan, and Austin. Love is messy, it said. So the one-on-one will be going to Grant. But going back to this date with Jonathan and Jenn, he starts talking about his upbringing, and she also does as well. And they just had a genuine conversation about how coming from a single mother household could also play a role as to why they have some problems emoting. So she offers him a rose, he accepts it, and they then get some fake rain on top of it as they kiss. So this date was truly something out of a movie. It really was. So the next day, it's time for the group date. The guys are dressed in some sort of like farm attire, and then a bunch of sheep come out of nowhere. They are on a sheep farm owned by a married couple of 40 years. So they're going to be doing some tasks to see who gets some extra time with Jen. So the first thing they do is that their task is to put all the sheep into the same corral. But there were so many sheep, and it was hilarious because at first there seems to they kind of got them together, but then they were all scattering all over. And you guys, they didn't even open the gate of where they were supposed to put the sheep in, but it was definitely fun to watch. The next thing they do is they have to scoop animal manure. As they're scooping it, Devin starts to have a little conversation with Jenn, just catching up, and the guy's mad as hell, of course. Last thing that they had to do was cut certain parts of the sheep's wool. It was a lot. So then, after doing all that, the lovely New Zealand owners of the sheep barn or whatever it is designate Devin as the winner. The guys are mad, but Jenn and him just kissed a little while they were sitting in the grass. It wasn't that big of a deal. Now, it's been hours, and later that night, some of these guys are still mad at Devin for winning Farmer of the Day. Guys, please stop being so damn annoying. Who cares? So, going into this later part of the day, Austin is very worried because he is the only one who hasn't had any one-on-one dates yet. So Jeremy and Jenn talk. He starts patting her head. It was so funny. He says that he was in a frat. He says he was the fat kid in high school. A lot of ex-fatties this season, and it's very vulnerable to share that. So props to all the guys who are willing to say all of this. And then he says that, you know what, he's low-key afraid of ending up being lonely. And like after trying his best, she says that she's afraid of giving too much to the wrong person. Then they kiss, and he starts patting her head again. That was such a cute moment. I laughed a lot. So Austin then goes to talk to her. And he starts by saying that he's always going to be honest with her. He says that he's been trying to play catch up for a while now, and that she has a great connections with great guys. But at this point, he doesn't think that he should be there to get in the way of her and the other guys. Wow. She was taken aback. I was taken aback because it was so sudden. He didn't even try to maybe see if she was willing to still work on it. Nope, he said, "I'm leaving, goodbye." Jenn was definitely having a delayed reaction. She was just like, "Oh, okay." And she kind of, took him out, but she was still confused. And that made Jenn upset because for her, it felt as if maybe she isn't doing a good job. What did the others feel like this as well? And I felt bad for her because in her confessional, she felt horrible, and she says that she felt unworthy. What if nobody chooses her? She starts to cry. I could totally see why Jenn would react like this with Austin doing this. But I personally think that some people are just from two different worlds. And it's nothing against anyone, but they're just not compatible, and that's okay. So then she goes inside and tells all the other guys that Austin left, and she shares that she is feeling a little unworthy and sad, that she's so excited for there to be a possible future, but what if other people don't feel like she does? And the guys all try to make her feel better. Sam goes to talk to her. She asks, "Does what I just said, does that make you see me differently?" And he says no. And I was just like, Jen, I mean, it's not that serious for them to see you differently. She then talks to Marcus, and she really likes Marcus. She even says that she can't wait to have conversations with him. And same with Devin. She definitely likes these guys a lot, for real. So because all the guys were super supportive to her, she says that she wouldn't even give the group date rose because they were all great to her. So then the next day, it's time for Jen and Grant's date. Grant checks in on her because he heard that something happened last night. Then they get on some horses. Riding horses with someone you like on a beach. That sounds amazing. Then they sat down a little bit and it starts raining. A rainbow comes out. It was really nice. It is in the night portion of the date, and Grant opens up about his father being an addict. The dad was an addict even when he was a child, so there was a little resentment there for sure. But before Grant got here to be on the show, his dad had gotten fired from his job, and he ended up finally checking into rehab, and he says that it's been about 2 months that he's been sober, so that's great. Jen then opens up about her parents and her previous toxic relationships for the 500th time, but I understand that she needs to share this with each person to get to know them. She does say that there was a guy that she was dating who she couldn't really talk to him about anything. Like, she even says that when she tried to talk to him about racism, he even said that it wasn't real. That's crazy. But then she grabs the rose and offers it, and he accepts it, and he's really happy. I think that Grant is such a good guy. He's cool, but I don't see a lot of compatibility with them. But I'm gonna put it out there, make Grant the next Bachelor. I would like to see that. So then, it's a new day, new evening, cocktail party. At this point, things are getting very serious. Grant shares with the guys that he thinks he's falling in love with Jen. Whoa! So then Jen walks on in and she says that she has appreciated the way that all of the men have helped her this week, and that she doesn't think that there should be a cocktail party. What? A lot of guys were really wanting to use this time, so that was really disappointing. And then, before they actually get to the rose ceremony, Grant was outside with Jonathan crying about how he's feeling. I think that Grant is falling in love with the idea of Jen, but not Jen specifically. I could be wrong, but that's how I feel. Alright, so rose ceremony. Jonathan and Grant have the roses already, and then Jen begins to give them out to Sam, Devin, Marcus, Jeremy, and finally Spencer. So Dylan is sent home. Dylan is a really nice guy, and he deserves nothing but the best. I wish him all of the best in his future endeavors and in medicine and his career, whatever he's doing. But he was definitely very sad. But honestly, it was giving me more of like friend vibes, so it had to happen. So I wish him the best. So there are now 7 guys left, and we are halfway through the season. 5 more episodes. They showed the trailer of what's to come, and it looks like a lot of drama. But again, not the best season. Honestly, I'm gonna say this. If Maria had become the Bachelorette like she was supposed to, I can guarantee you guys that the ratings would be 2 times higher, and we would all be super excited. I mean, nothing against Jen, but it's just not the most interesting season. But y'all let me know what y'all think about this episode. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll catch y'all next time. You have a great one. Bye.